Story 1. Weeding through the ever-changing landscape of articles about what is healthy can be challenging. I approach this by focusing on eating the least processed foods for the majority of my diet. I include healthy fats from minimally processed sources such as nuts and avocado. I am also selective about the processed foods I purchase, choosing those with the least added sugars, additives, and thickeners. Story 2. For most people, it's a matter of not being educated about what food is healthy, and we have a perception that food preparation is unenjoyable work. The truth is that healthy food is not expensive. You can create basic meals from 3 components: a vegetable, a protein, and a carbohydrate. I typically saute root vegetables such as carrots, potatoes, and rutabagas with butter, which is surprisingly affordable. I usually choose chicken or pork for my protein, also sautéed with butter. These options are also surprisingly economical. Finally, I incorporate some form of box couscous for a carbohydrate if I plan to work out that day. If not, I skip it. This approach can yield several servings of very healthy dinner for under $20. When I mention this, people often respond, "Well, some people don't have the time for that." And my only reply is, well then, they are at a disadvantage. There are no alternatives to eating healthily for anyone who wishes to maintain well-being. I understand that everyone is tired after work, but my partner and I view food preparation as our main couple activity. I arrive home and we get to work. Takes about an hour, but it's a pleasant hour. I can create many variations of this dinner without overspending. Various cuts of chicken and pork are available for just a couple of dollars per pound. Mostly, I just use salt, pepper, and butter, which are all affordable. You can add frozen vegetables if you want to maintain a low expense. There are no alternatives for you. Collecting, prepping, and eating food is not a chore. It's literally what all animals spend their lives doing. If you prioritize other activities over maintaining a healthy lifestyle, you are at a disadvantage. There are no alternatives if you want to be happy and healthy. There are no policy solutions available to you if you reject this reality. Story 3. Okay, this is a far more fascinating question than people realize. A good amount of scientific research suggests it is the combination of environment and genetics. I used to be firmly in the camp of, if you make it your goal, you can do it. But a compelling review of the literature by Barbell Medicine changed my mind on this. In short, there have been randomized controlled trials conducted with a host of impractical and expensive interventions on obese individuals. Without the aid of weight loss medications, the success rate after 2 years was abysmally low, around 30%, even though these individuals wanted to lose weight. I now firmly believe that our environment dictates a lot about whether or not we succeed in the long term. Is healthy food expensive? Is ultra-processed, calorie-dense food readily available inside and outside the home? Do you work a job that involves a significant amount of exercise, or have you established a lifelong habit of regular and appropriately strenuous exercise? Did you grow up in a home where you mostly ate ultra-processed food, and was this ever a comfort mechanism? All of these factors affect a person's lifelong success, and the reality is that our food environment in countries like the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom is often incompatible with the genetics of many people. I lost so much weight when I went to Japan and then gained it all back. Sometimes it means the country you were in has a healthier food environment. Sometimes it could mean you exercised significantly more than you regularly do and were not often preoccupied with food. Story 4. For me, it's simply that I enjoy unhealthy foods. I could eat healthy on a budget if I wanted. I know how, but I don't care enough to make the effort. I don't eat terribly. I just refuse to give up certain foods. Story 5. Avoiding sugar. I bought a bag of organic dried blueberries at Costco that has more added sugar per serving than a can of Coke. Story 6. Really, for me, it's the effort. It takes significantly more time and energy to prepare something healthy compared to something less healthy. Story 7. The affordability and accessibility of fast food and processed foods compared to fresh produce and completely natural meals, which require more time and resources to prepare, often make them more appealing. Story 8. Cost, time, and lack of knowledge are common barriers. However, the main issue is that the perception of food has shifted, leading to generations of people who believe real food does not taste good because their taste buds have been altered by processed foods. Healthy food does not have to be limited to salad. Many people think that macaroni and cheese in a bread bowl or iceberg lettuce with cold tomatoes are their only options. Story 9. The lack of education on how to maintain healthy habits leads everyone to follow social media health trends promoted by individuals without proper expertise in health or nutrition. Story 10. Fast food is convenient. Grocery store foods are loaded with additives to taste good, and are not healthy unless you buy items that are not pre-made. Restaurant foods are also loaded with additives, which makes them unhealthy. The best advice is to avoid eating out and prepare all your meals from scratch. Story 11. Getting caught up in fads and fear-based dieting is unwise. Diets such as ketogenic, carnivorous, or vegetarian are not magical solutions for achieving better health. A well-balanced diet that includes healthy fats, protein, and carbohydrates provides a solid foundation. Completely eliminating one food group while over-consuming another is neither sustainable nor healthy. Additionally, claiming that red meat is as much of a carcinogen as cigarettes is unfounded. Seed oils are not harmful in moderation, nor are plant-based products. Story 12. It's not hard at all. Buy whole foods and make good food. Don't buy into the notion that you cannot eat well today. There's never been a better time to eat well. Story 13. Having to always make meals at home when you are tired or just want something convenient. Story 14. The hardest part is allocating time to learn, acquire, prepare, cook, and eat healthy meals while trying to keep up with everything else. Story 15. 85% of the foods in most grocery stores are highly processed. Highly processed foods, often called ultra-processed foods, are items that have been significantly altered from their original form, typically containing added sugars, fats, and preservatives. Regular consumption of these foods can lead to various health issues, including obesity and heart disease. Story 16. Money. And that assumes you can overcome temptations to eat out, cooking difficulties, learning recipes, food preparation, and more. Story 17. The lack of availability of unprocessed foods without additives, along with the time and effort required to check labels, makes it challenging to prepare even 2 fresh, healthy meals a day that provide a full complement of nutrients. Story 18. Finding healthy food like fruits and vegetables is important, but they do not constitute a complete meal and may not satisfy an appetite. Story 19. Fresh food doesn't last long, so I have to go to the store more often to eat healthier. Additionally, sugar is prevalent in many foods in the United States that do not need it. Story 20. Cost. While it is more affordable, a cost-based analysis shows that it can still be more expensive to eat healthy rather than unhealthy. Preparation. It is much easier to run through a drive-thru than to cook in the kitchen. For example, getting a burger from a fast food restaurant is simpler than making your own meal at home. Convenience. It is significantly more convenient to choose unhealthy food over healthy options. Many work parties, social functions, and holidays rarely offer healthy food. Vending machines in workplaces and schools typically contain chips and other processed snacks instead of fruits. Taste. Unhealthy food often tastes better than healthy food. For instance, many people would choose a slice of cheesecake over an apple any day of the week. Story 21. Because DoorDash exists and it's very cold where I live right now, going to the store to get food that I have to cook and clean up after is much less appealing than ordering a pizza. Story 22. Uneducated influencers with no real job prospects make a lot of noise over irrelevant topics to advance their agenda towards the alt-right. Story 23. In the United States, we depleted the ground's nutrients. It is already a crisis that our grown food is lacking in vitamins because of this. Eating healthy is not truly eating healthy. It is healthier. Story 24. Cost is a significant factor. Healthier food tends to be more expensive. I need to follow a specific diet due to my health problems, and it is challenging to afford compared to the more relaxed diet my sister can maintain. Story 25. The temptation to get fast food is strong. It's difficult not to crave food that has been enjoyed in the past. I often end up buying snacks and sweets when I go grocery shopping. Lately, I have switched to eating a more balanced meal, including meat, vegetables, and a carbohydrate, usually rice. Story 26. I don't think it is more expensive to eat healthy when grocery shopping. The problem, in my opinion, is that the food spoils before it can be used. This can be resolved by shopping more frequently. Story 27. Making the change to healthy food is important. Ultra-processed food is designed by major companies to be as addictive as possible. Once you get past the first couple of weeks, it becomes much easier and regular food tastes better. Story 28. For me, it's the time, effort, and work involved in planning, shopping, food rotation, preparation, cooking, and cleanup. It's challenging to maintain that motivation and energy consistently. I also get bored eating the same thing repeatedly, so I can't depend on a monotonous routine menu. Story 29. Time and energy are essential for many people. Most individuals work a 40-hour week, which assumes someone else will handle cooking and cleaning. Not everyone has the energy or willpower to cook after work or to spend their weekends meal prepping. Story 30. There are many factors that influence healthy eating, including money, time, motivation, and education. Eating healthy does not have to be expensive. However, it can become costly if you rely on pre-made meals due to a lack of time to prepare more elaborate dishes in a society focused on work and productivity. Additionally, a lack of knowledge about healthy foods, or being overwhelmed by conflicting information about what is good or bad, can also contribute to the challenge of maintaining a healthy diet. Story 31. Dealing with other people's food habits can be challenging, whether it's your spouse, roommate, parent, or someone else in your household. For example, my spouse often starts eating candy or sweet treats and, when he's unable to finish, tries to offer me the rest. He gets upset when I decline, despite me telling him many times that I do not want it. Other challenges arise if you are not in charge of the grocery budget or if someone else handles cooking in the household. Additionally, some people feel the need to critique what you eat, saying things like, "You are too skinny," or "You should have seconds. Your mom's cooking is delicious." There are also social pressures to drink alcohol. Story 32. For me, it's stress. Even if I have a healthier option, I need something calorie-dense and I need to eat a lot of it. Nowadays, it's been fast food, chips, chocolate, and candy. Story 33. Everything is processed, full of preservatives and harmful substances, and contains unnecessary sugar. Healthy food becomes boring when you are accustomed to processed foods because it is all you have ever known. Story 34. The price is incredibly high for eating healthy compared to grabbing ultra-processed foods in America. Story 35. I'm just so tired of cooking. My job is really stressful. I used to love to cook, try new recipes, and create technical masterpieces. Now all I see is a pile of dishes, a trip to the store, and money spent. I need to hurry and eat. There's not enough time during my lunch break. Story 36. I am living in America. It is often hard to find food that does not make me feel sick after I eat it. Story 37. Eating anything you didn't make can be risky. Unless it's prepackaged or from a major restaurant, you have no idea what's in it. I have a little Greek place I love, but I have no idea how many calories are in their hummus. I choose to believe their hummus is healthier than anything fried. Story 38. Even when you feel motivated and have the budget to buy healthier foods or ingredients to prepare your own meals, the appeal of fast food and convenience is hard to resist, especially on a long or busy day. For me, once I fall off that wagon, it is challenging to get back on. Story 39. The constant bombardment and ease of access to unhealthy options can be overwhelming. I travel frequently for work, and while I do try to make an effort to eat healthier, it is very hard to discipline myself. After a long day, the convenience of fast food is too enticing when all I want is to eat a quick meal and relax. Story 40. I think this is a common issue. The cost of buying the ingredients to make a burrito is often more than just purchasing a burrito, because restaurants benefit from economies of scale. When making multiple burritos at home, you can prepare them at a lower cost than buying them individually. If you have the means to store and reheat leftovers or are comfortable eating the same meal every night for a week, that works in your favor. However, if you are only cooking for 1 or 2 people, a problem arises. You only need 1 tortilla, but you can only buy a pack of 8 or more. You'll need 4 ounces of ground beef, which means getting it from the butcher counter or purchasing a pound. You might also need only 1/8 of a can of beans. By the time you buy all the ingredients, you may end up spending more, sometimes significantly more, especially if you choose higher quality or healthier options than those available at a restaurant. Additionally, unless you are engaging in meal planning, you may have ingredients left over that could spoil, resulting in wasted food and money. Not everyone has the time or knowledge to plan meals precisely. With this in mind, it's often easier to simply buy a burrito. Unfortunately, the unhealthier versions are usually the fastest, cheapest, and easiest options to find. Story 41. Finding healthy foods can be a challenge, especially if you are not a picky eater and only want to focus on health. Red meat and dairy contain hormones like cortisol and growth factors, which may contribute to cancer and metabolic imbalances. Although I enjoy burgers, I recognize these concerns. Chickens are often fed antibiotics, and this contributes to global antibiotic resistance. Ingesting unnecessary antibiotics can kill beneficial bacteria in the gut, harm the microbiome, and lead to various diseases. You might consider fish, but they can be high in mercury and microplastics. Heavy metals, especially mercury, accumulate in the body and can cause neurological dysfunction. You may then think about eating vegetables, but many of them are genetically modified organisms, GMOs. The long-term effects of GMOs on the human body are still unclear. Additionally, we must not overlook the impact of pesticides. At this point, I am unsure if truly healthy food exists. This uncertainty is the most difficult aspect for me. Story 42. All the junk food is prominently displayed at grocery stores and always on sale. It is hard to avoid when I go grocery shopping after work, feeling tired and wanting to de-stress. Story 43. It can be quite costly due to factors like the price of organic produce, which is typically higher than non-organic options. Story 44. You can't trust anyone. Almost no one understands what is healthy or cares. You have to grow your own food, but even then it is hard. Seed quality has decreased. You can't do anything about air quality, water quality, or soil quality. You can't shut down industrial facilities, and regulations force you to produce in a certain way. Some claim that certain chemicals are not unhealthy, but they are funded by large food companies and lack credibility. Do you want to eat fish? The water is dirty. There are heavy chemicals in the water. Chicken and meat are full of chemicals, and vegetables are laden with pesticides and herbicides. People don't care about eating healthily. When you talk about it, people say things like, "Don't be obsessed. There's nothing wrong in moderation," or "Everything is poisoned anyway." People often want to trust the system and regulators. I think this is a human defense mechanism. People want to believe everything is good. That's why we can never change anything. Additionally, people don't understand the importance of eating healthily. Most people eat healthily to look good, but it even affects our daily mood. Unfortunately, when I mentioned this to a psychology professor, she told me there is no proof that what we eat affects our mood. Story 45. The combination of how addictive the taste is and a lack of interest or energy to actually cook something makes it tempting to settle for convenience after work. I could go home and whip up a steak and potatoes, or I could just throw in a frozen pizza or order one and go watch some television. Story 46. It is easy to get anything delivered to your door. It may be a bit more expensive, but if you are short on time, it is a lifesaver. Story 47. Finding the right diet for you. All of the recommendations on the internet might only work for the advocates, not the vast majority. You need to understand what your body needs and lacks before choosing what and how you should eat. Story 48. In North America, even healthy food can be rather unhealthy. It is simply less unhealthy than junk food. Story 49. In this discussion, there are people who do not know how to cook or refuse to learn. They are wasting their money on unhealthy fast food. Story 50. Price, time, and convenience are important factors. Your instincts convey what your body craves, and it takes time to eliminate harmful bacteria while promoting the growth of beneficial ones. An alternative could be a quick stool transplant, but this option is only available in rare cases. Story 51. Meal planning addresses food waste, the convenience of unhealthy foods, and the time-consuming task of cleaning up. It requires real skill to clean as you go. Story 52. Forcing yourself to keep track of numbers when you eat each day and how many times, calories, protein, carbohydrates, and buying exactly what you need nonstop. With fast food or groceries, without worrying about health, you stress less about what works and what doesn't. Story 53. Many processed and unhealthy foods are marketed as healthier than they actually are, leading to confusion about what is truly nutritious. Story 54. Most people will say that eating out is hard to stop doing. If it is for social reasons, then I suggest inviting people over to your place or going to a park in nice weather. If it is because you like Taco Bell and Chinese takeaway, then you need to find copycat recipes to make your own tacos and gai cow at home. You just need to ensure you find a place that sells the ingredients. For gai cow, you'll need slivers of stir-fried chicken breast in a blonde gravy, along with slivers of onions, bok choy, and rice. For the tacos, you can buy the spice packet or sauce that Taco Bell sells, or you could figure out which parts of the seasoning you like and create your own chili powder and salsa from scratch. It is all about how much time and effort you are willing to put into recreating the menu items you are trying to replicate. You do not have to do it every night, but if you start by recreating a restaurant or takeaway meal once a month, before you know it, you will be saving time and money, and you will be able to do it at home. Story 55. Cost and convenience. It is more expensive to eat good food than from McDonald's, and it is also easier to go through a drive-thru than to cook for yourself. Story 56. Not taking it too far. People become obsessed due to information overload. It does not have to be that serious to have a positive impact. Story 57. The number of people who do not understand that organic and similar terms are mainly marketing phrases with minimal data to support their claims is concerning. This post will likely attract individuals who have fallen for the placebo effect as well. These options are typically more expensive, smaller, degrade faster, and occupy valuable land. Story 58. Other people's input. Do not discuss your eating habits. If you are trying to lose weight or follow a specific diet, the worst thing you can do is talk about it. Many people have opinions. For instance, if you are tracking your calorie intake, there is always someone who wants to say, actually, that doesn't work. Additionally, listening to people who make excuses for not making changes can give you permission to do the same. If you are around individuals who say things like, healthy food is expensive, or mention conditions like polycystic ovary syndrome, it can make it more challenging because they influence your thinking. You should also avoid similar content online. Story 59. Accessibility to unhealthy foods is a concern. There is a saying, I bet if you had to make it, you'd never eat it. The next time you crave apple pie, consider making it. If you want ice cream, make it yourself. You might find that you are less inclined to consume the apple pie and ice cream. After traveling around North America, it becomes evident that many foods contain excessive amounts of sugar and sodium, and this nutritional information is often not advertised. Story 60. The problem is the disinformation. I regularly encounter videos claiming that meat causes cancer, but these claims are primarily funded by vegan groups. There is a series on a popular streaming platform that suggests meat is harmful, but investigations reveal that both the series and a dedicated unit at the University of California are funded by the same individual. Additionally, the science behind the claim that meat causes cancer is flawed. I have met several former vegans who experienced significant health issues until they reintroduced meat, though not in large quantities. For example, one woman now consumes 6 ounces of fish twice a week. Moreover, the discussions surrounding the carnivore diet often overlook the importance of dietary fiber. When I tried a carnivore diet some time ago, I had to start taking fiber supplements because my condition worsened. One thing that seems certain is that ultra-processed foods, which require industrial chemical processes for production, are detrimental to our health. Story 61. The fact that so much food that is actually good for us has been transformed into something that looks like food that is good for us but tastes terrible. Tasteless grapes, carrots, avocados, melons, my list goes on. Much commercial food in large grocery stores has no taste whatsoever compared with something grown at home or under non-industrial farming conditions. Many people don't know that when they have a tomato fresh out of a garden or an egg from a chicken raised in their yard, they can't believe how much better it tastes than its large chain grocery store counterparts. If I had to eat healthy on only poor quality meat and tasteless fruits and vegetables from large chain supermarkets, I would probably stick to glazed donuts and Milky Ways. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.